Our final team competing today is Infinite Chemistry. You might remember them from the finals last year. They did not receive funding last year, but they did not give up. I'm incredibly proud of this team and the progress that they've made over the last year. CC student team members presenting are Prakhar Gautam, Paul Price, and Cameron MacDonald. Additional team members not presenting are CC students Pietro Giacomin and Tian Lee. Please join me in welcoming Infinite Chemistry to the floor.
Ready?
Do you have the clicker?
Yeah, I have the clicker. Hi, everyone. Like Des said, my name is Prakhar Gautam. I'm a senior biochemistry major at CC and one of the co-founders of Infinite Chemistry. The reason my team and I are here today is because we want to tell you about a problem that I and my fellow majors have encountered while learning chemistry. This problem is at the very heart of how we teach the subject. And any student learning chemistry, whether in high school or college, eventually stumbles upon it, translating 2D representations into real 3D objects. For the non-chemists in the room, I realize this might be a little bit complicated, so I'm going to use an analogy to explain further. Behind me is a blueprint, which were the standard through which we used to design and create, until the emergence of 3D modeling tools. These tools allow us to create seamlessly and fluidly within 3D space. These tools have also led to the modern revolution in engineering and architecture. Meanwhile, this is what my chemistry homework looks like. We've taught chemistry using a pen and paper model, which can be considered essentially the blueprint of all chemical reactions for the last 200 years. At Infinite Chemistry, we believe it's time for an update. And so in 2018, we created Infinite Chemistry. The first iteration of our software allowed us to get user data from student trials performed at CC's chemistry department. Through these trials and other subsequent trials, we came to realize that our software, while being able to teach chemistry, was too restrictive. We didn't offer the creativity and freedom that's found in VR. We wanted to do more and show more. And so we created Infinite Chemistry 2.0. This is a user using our brand new molecular interaction system. They can not only rotate, but change the size, shape, and understand symmetry of molecules like never before. But we didn't stop just there. We decided to create our own molecular loading system. What this means is that we can take any molecule, any protein, any chemical structure on any chemical database online and import it into the Infinite Chemistry world right now. So to tell you more about who Infinite Chemistry is as a team, here's Cameron MacDonald.
Thanks, Prakhar. I'll take it from here.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Infinite Chemistry is the 5 of us, Paul, Prakhar, Pietro, Tian, who's at Baca, and myself. We're a group of CC seniors who have been working on this problem for 2 years now. In the 21st century, multitasking is everything. It's the only way to learn, and it's the only way to run a startup. For us, that means taking on a bunch of intertwined responsibility that keeps Infinite Chemistry going forward. But the real core of our team is the idea of being a student-led movement or organization. And being student-led doesn't just mean that we're owned or operated by students because all of us are graduating, like I said at the end of the semester. But student-led does mean 2 things. One, it means that inclusive learning happens inside and outside of the classroom. And 2, that it means creating a new student culture that focuses on learning, sharing, and creating. And that's what Infinite Chemistry has been doing for the last 2 years. We've been learning, sharing, and creating. Our advisors have helped us do that a lot. Their experience in the private sector and in academia are lessons that we're constantly learning. And that's why we're so excited to be back at the Big Idea, because we're excited with all the things that we've learned. When we left last year, like Des said, we didn't get any seed funding. That was a really tough position for us to be in as a young company. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to progress. We decided to keep doing CC student trials, and that really kept us going forward. From there, we took advantage of opportunities in the local ecosystem, like pitch nights, where we learned to hone our message and deliver it to the community. After that, we did the What If Festival. This was a great opportunity right here in Colorado Springs, and we didn't expect the outcome at all. When we had little kids and adults who hadn't been students for 10 or 20 years try our product, they didn't really like it. And that's because of what Prakhar said. It wasn't intuitive. It wasn't what they expected from virtual reality. And so that's the change to Infinite Chemistry 2.0 that you guys saw on the screen today. You all saw on the screen today. Go Code Colorado was the next step. We learned, or we relearned, all the skills that the block plan taught us, how to work in a high-stress environment very quickly and how to communicate amongst team members. The last step was the Common On-Champ Accelerator, which kind of focused us into the big idea for 2020. And that's why we're so happy to have gotten our seed funding. Thank you to Colorado College. We're so happy to know where to go next. And part of that is knowing who our customers are. Infinite Chemistry has a dual subscriber model. We imagine two sets of customers. One is the personal user, the student who will pay $10 a month. They might be at a school that doesn't offer Infinite Chemistry. They might be preparing to go to PhD in chemistry like Prakhar, and they might want to do the GRE test in an environment that makes sense. They might want to engage in practice problems in an environment that makes sense. For the academic user, it's about creating a highly collaborative, highly customizable space where professors can engage their students in a real virtual classroom, not just somewhere where they're learning chemistry lessons in kind of this fake VR world. And Paul is going to tell you how both of these users are a pathway forward to taking over VR.
Thank you, Cameron. So as we move on to the future, one of the biggest things for us is getting our software up and running, and that means releasing it in 2021. With this release, we continue to plan and expand through our local quad of colleges in the Springs, UCCS, Pikes Peak Community College, as well as having the goal of being available to every student in the Colorado public college system by 2023. This means in our user base that's composed of personal and academic users that we should see our licenses grow to 50,000 by 2025. And we've outlined a clear path to get there. It starts with applying to Exponential Impacts Accelerator. Through XI, we'll have access to further funding, testing, and networking opportunities to further Infinite Chemistry's development, as well as being paired with mentors and other local startups. So as we learn on our own, we also learn by immersing ourselves in the local community. And these projections are based off the virtual reality and AR market growth in the coming years. As an education technology company, we understand that we need to find our place in the emerging global market as soon as possible. And not only is VR the best way to solve that the chemistry teaching problem, but it is also the largest sector in the educational technology market. Currently, EdTech is worth about $1.8 billion. And by 2025, it is expected to boom by over 700%. That means VR is beating out AI, blockchain, and robotics combined. With all these new technologies and innovations, there's a very large increased need for cost-effective educational tools, which means we're not alone in this venture, but we do know what separates us from our competition. Our two main competitors include MelScience and NanoMe. MelScience focuses on a younger audience and incorporates cardboard cutouts in place for VR headsets. This means they're ignoring virtual reality's true potential, while Infinite Chemistry plans on building a software that uses virtual reality to push learning to its limits. NanoMe, on the other hand, focuses too much on a software for researchers at the NIH and not a student at Colorado College. And our final main competitor would be the Model Kit. It's a chemistry classroom standard around the globe. And Infinite Chemistry plans on building a software that provides more chemistry intuition than clipping two pieces of plastic together. And with the $7,500 from the big idea, we'll be able to do just that. In 2019, with our summer pre-seed funding, we were able to buy a few desktop computers and monitors. However, even with all this growth, we quickly realized that the lack of hardware was a bottleneck in moving forward. But now, with the $7,500, we'll be able to purchase several desktops and VR headsets to progress and bring Infinite Chemistry to the future. But this is also a great moment to say thank you to Colorado College and the other local startup community, including the Pikes Peak Pitch Night events, for helping us and supporting us through this moment for the past 2 years. It's a great feeling to finally be here and leave with some money. Our next ask is engagement. And this is one of the most important things for everyone in the audience to do today. Whether it be attend a pitch night, a demo day, or an event just like this where you can see students create and run their own companies, it is important to be active and engaged with the rest of the startup community. So get out there and start attending these events. And for the students here in the audience, the local startup community is always looking to work with anybody. Expand your horizons, whether that be through a VR headset or an internship. And lastly, we have one more announcement, which is if you go to infinitechemistry.com today and go to our product page, you can register for our beta and get news and announcements about the upcoming release. Thank you, and Prakhar has one last thing to share with everyone.
Thank you, Paul. I want to use my presence on the stage today to give thanks to a few individuals. About 2 years ago, I was a young kid struggling through chemistry. And somehow, mysteriously, in some ways, I found some friends around me who were willing to help me learn to do chemistry better. They said they could help me build the software to learn. They said they would be with me to start a company. So people like Pietro Giacomin, who's in the audience right now, he's one of the most dedicated and kindest people I've ever met. Someone like Paul and Cameron, who both have been with me for 2 years, have helped start Infinite Chemistry to be what it is today. People like Jake and Des, who supported me throughout my entire journey and never stopped believing in me once. And thank you so much to Eli Farnkrug, who has been the best role model I've ever had. Thank you all today. See you at the reception.